Welcome back, and in this segment we will be entering the literary work of writer and novelist Dr. Mohamed Fayek. He graduated from the Faculty of Pharmacy, but he studied psychology and he entered the world of writing. We will be learning more about his style and the themes he's interested in this segment. Welcome with us, Doctor.
Thank you.
Dr. Mohammed, thank you very much for being with us today. That's a great shift in career from the pharmaceuticals to psychology. How did this happen?
Yes, it is. Actually, after 10 years maybe of practicing pharmacy, I worked in all the jobs you can imagine that a pharmacist can work as. Then in 2011 maybe, I don't know what to call it, but I was in Dubai and I was attending a course about decision making. After this course, maybe 1 week later, I took the decision to quit my job and start working in the human development field. After that, I decided that I should have some academic degree in this field. This is why I decided to study psychology, and thank God, 3 years later, I finished my master's in psychology. Since then, I started working in training, human development. I wrote my 3 books.
Yes. Now, one of your books is 50 Neuron, and when you were asked by the media about it, you gave a very interesting answer why you named it or gave it such a name. So I don't want to spoil it. I want to hear it from you. The choice of the name of your book, 50 Neuron.
Actually, the name neuron came.
Neuron, yeah.
I was thinking, how do we think? The process of thinking.
Yes.
Our brain consists of neurons. This is the basic building cell of our brain. This neuron comes out from it all our ideas or our thinking or our feelings. So I thought like this will be a symbol, a good symbol to like represent ideas. And this is what the book is about. It's about ideas. I write ideas in the form of scripts, like short stories. This is why I named it Neuron. Also, I have a Facebook page in the same name, and I published those scripts along maybe 3 years on the page. Then I decided to publish them in a book, like a collection.
Quitting your job and then studying psychology and then turning into a writer, most of us, we don't have the courage to be doing that. A lot of people here in Egypt, maybe all over the world, they may be too afraid to be having less money for the future, to be not certain about the consequences of the decision. What made you take the decision, and how did you get the courage to be doing it?
Actually, I didn't have any courage, and it was like a big fight.
Yes.
In the
With
family. No, in the family.
Yes, with the family.
Because I was working in a big company, big pharmaceutical company. I had a good salary and everything was stable. So, are you crazy? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Actually, I did it only for my passion. I know this sounds like a cliche, but this is actually what happened. I did it only for passion. I didn't care about money. I didn't care about anything else. I just cared that I will get up in the morning and every day I do something I love. And here I am today.
Well, in the various reviews I read about you, they say that you're known for your sarcastic way, and that
Yes.
sarcasm is one of your methods. So, to what extent is that true? What they wrote?
It is 100% true, yes. I believe that sarcasm or comedy or light writing is the best way to deliver information to people, to audiences.
So, if I can return to Neuron, the book, you must be very fascinated by how the mind works.
Yes.
What can you tell us more about the terms of working inside the mind? Because it is a very interesting place.
Yes.
It is the one thing that controls maybe everything in the world, because it controls our body, then it controls our feelings, it controls our behavior, it controls our actions. So the mind controls everything around us in the world.
Yes, this is true. And here there is a famous debate. Actually, it is an ongoing debate. What is the difference between brain and mind? Our brains is the organ inside this skull. It's like 1.5 pounds approximately, but our minds is not confined to this organ alone. Our minds is like what you said, everything, our emotions, our feelings, our behaviors, and it's not fully understood yet. And I don't think it will ever will. It will ever will be understood because the human mind is like very convoluted, very complicated. Our motives, everything is like when I write, I just trace an idea. I don't think too much about the origin or where it will take me. I just trace it and write what comes to my head along the way. So I don't know if I answered your question right, but actually there is no accurate or right answer for this question.
Now, what about your collection of short stories or thoughts, Tunnels, Saradib? Because the name itself is quite, because tunnels usually it has this mysticism in it. It's usually you think of it as narrow, dark, long, somewhere maybe under the ground and
Yes,
very mysterious.
the human dungeons. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, uh,
Or
in Saradib,
Saradib, yeah.
my third book, it's six stories, six
Hmm.
short stories, and every and each one of them
Hmm.
talks about something deep in the human psyche, about motives, about love, about hate, about murder.
Hmm.
All these actions come out from this deep human psyche, and this is why I called it dungeons or deep tunnels.
Yeah.
You seem to be fascinated by the human soul and mind.
Yes, very
So,
much.
yeah,
Yes.
and this happened maybe, as you said, 10 years following your graduation, and you've been working in a pharmaceutical company for 10 years, maybe in your 30s, to be finding your passion, to be writing and maybe discovering more about the human soul and mind. Where do you think this would get you? As you said, you just trace the story, you don't know where it will be leading to you.
I think the passion started much earlier. It started maybe when I was a kid. I always cared to know why X did this. Why? I didn't care about what he did or what she did. I cared most about why they did it.
Hmm.
And of course, with all the fuss about marriage, divorce, raising children, all our social
Cycles,
main,
yes.
yes, or our main social issues or causes, I think this is my next phase or my next step. I want to go deep. Why we marry someone, why we decide to get a divorce or don't. How do we decide to raise our children, our reactions based on what? And here I'm talking not about your usual theoretical books. No, I want to go deeper. I want to know each and every one of us. How do we get these decisions? How do we get this decision in an instant? I get some messages from people like a man says, "I want to divorce my wife." Then when I start to ask him why, he takes a moment. Then he lists like
Yes.
some reasons. When I discuss him about these reasons, in the end he said, maybe I don't want to divorce her. So in this instant, when he got the feeling, I want to divorce her. Why? Why he did get this feeling? Actually, take this and measure it for everything.
Yes.
Raising children, getting married, going out with friends. I want to know the basic motives that drive us to do everything that we do in our lives.
Now
I hope
you
I
said
do
that you
this.
had three books, and we talked about two. So tell us a bit about the third book.
The third book, it was actually published as my second
Hmm.
book, the Book of Personalities,
Hmm.
كشكول شخصيات.
Hmm.
And it's my favorite
Hmm.
because it's the only one that you can call a book. I noticed that maybe I can say 90%
Hmm.
of our disputes and differences comes from our personality
Hmm.
differences. We are not the same.
Hmm.
At all, we are not the same. I almost can say we don't speak the same language. Even if we are both Egyptians, no, we don't speak the same language. We don't perceive the world the same. So we don't take decisions the same. We don't perceive what we say the same. The awareness about your personality and others' personalities enables you to understand them well, and this will decrease any disputes or daily fights to an astonishing level. I wrote this book to introduce, uh, it was a very small book, of course, to introduce human personalities to the public. I want them to know the basics of our keys. How do we think? How do we take decisions? How do we perceive each other?
Well, I'd like to thank you very much, writer and novelist Dr. Mohamed Fayek. Thank you very much for this interview. And now
Thank
we
you,
will be,
doctor.
yeah, now we will be, Ahmed, actually looking at a song. It's
Yes.
by Heba Tougi, and it's called Sallim ala Masr, or Say Hi to Egypt.